Hi everyone, my name is Bella, also known as Bella Brajan, and I'm here doing a video for the first time like this. So I was trying to make a card account or page or website, whatever you call it, in lieu of using Linktree because I wanted to be more personable about displaying my socials and artwork to everyone and any terms of service I have for my commissions. And I was scouring YouTube everywhere looking for a tutorial to make a page from scratch or some other artist tutorial to make a creative page for content creators and artists. And I was unable to find anything. So I'm creating this video so you don't have to spend hours like I did scouring YouTube for a tutorial on this. Now, I do want to let you guys know that I am an amateur when it comes to using card, but I was able to figure it out enough to make a user-friendly basic page. So here is the card page that I created. It's pretty basic, but it took me hours to create this because I was learning as I went. But I was able to get a little profile picture in here, some text, some buttons that go to an extended part of my card page, and they all work too. So, for example, socials, it'll come on over here. I have icons set up, and in the event that people are unable to differentiate between the uh, icons to decide what my social medias are, they can click this button and it'll bring up my link tree. I also have a channel trailer video just kind of saying, hey, this is me and this is what I'm about. I also have a home page button that will take us right back to the front page of my card. The next one I have set up here is my portfolio. So if we click on this, it'll bring up my little artwork portfolio. And I just have these like animations so it pops out, which is kind of cool and nice to look at. And if you click on the image itself, it brings it into like a little light box where you can look at the artwork even closer, which is pretty cool. And of course, I added a home page here to go back to the front page. If you're an artist, you have to have a commission tab, so I have that all set up here. When it pops up to this page, I was kind of lazy because I couldn't figure out how to make the text look pretty. So I just added in my commission sheet because it had all the information that people needed if they were to commission me. I also have my Ko-fi button and my DeviantArt button because this is where I have my listings for my commissions for people to order, as well as a TOS set up for all of the terms and service questions that people may have when they order from me. I also linked my Etsy to the shop button. So if somebody was curious and clicked this link, it would pop up my Etsy account, which I have all of my bases and any stickers or prints that I make here. And then of course that home button to come right back to the front page. I also am on Patreon, so I set up a little subscribe button here where people can subscribe and support me on Patreon. I also figured out some ways to make the text look pretty and broke down all the things I offer on Patreon. I made this a link to Patreon, as well as if somebody clicks on this image, it will go straight to my Patreon. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then we're going to go back. And then lastly, I set up here my Discord so that people can connect with me, hang out. We can do collaborations, share your artwork in the art Discord. And when I click this, it brings up this, which is a link to my Discord if somebody were to click on this. Just a basic description of what the reason for my Discord is. And then, of course, my cute little logo that is also linked to my Discord. So somebody could click on either of these things and go straight to my Discord. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty basic. It's not like super fancy, um, but it has everything that I need to, show everybody what I do. And if they ever have any questions or want a commission from me, everything that they need is going to be in any of these tabs here. Alrighty, so now for the tutorial. To start out with creating a card, you're going to want to go to card.co, which is CARRD.co. And once you create an account, you're going to have a dashboard that looks a lot like this, except for it will probably be blank. And when you create a new site, you're going to hit the plus button here, and it will bring up options for using a template or starting from scratch. And this tutorial is for starting from scratch. Just to kind of give you an idea for context, we're going to go over the basic tools of using a card to add in different assets to your page. And it might be easier actually if we start a new site. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to start a new site. We're going to select blank page here. And it's going to start off with just something, just a little starting point here. You can delete everything here, add to it, whatever you want to do. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to title this site as a test. And if over here, there's a lot of textual language that you have to use to change the type of the text. I don't know the right verbiage for that, but for example, if I put 2 stars here and 2 stars here, it makes it bold. Or if we are going to underline this text, you're going to do an underscore, and I was missing another underscore. And it's underlined. It has all of the textual language here that you can use to edit your text. And then you would just fill it out in this box here, which I think is being cut off. Let me see what's going on here. There we go. So yeah, all the textual language is here for if you need to edit your text. And there's also different tabs up here for resizing your text, changing the color of your text. You can change the font. I like this font. You can make it larger. This is like the spacing between text, making the page extend a little bit. You can spread out your text, indent it. Do lowercase, uppercase, or small caps. I like to center my text in most posts and displays that I make with text because it just looks clean that way, and you can change the alignment here. And then you can also add other things like a gradient to your text. The angle of the gradient, if you have one, you can outline your text. Oh, I made it completely white. There we go. And then also an important function to know about is that almost every asset in this page builder has a mobile function as well, because you want to make sure when people are searching up your card page on their phone that it doesn't look out of place, that it looks structurally well, since it is a different format set up for the phone versus browsing it on the web browser. So there's an auto function, but I prefer the manual function because sometimes it doesn't look right when you view it in mobile view. Which, if you click this button right here, the phone, it'll change it from web browser to mobile view, and you can switch back from here. So if you click this manual button down here for mobile, you can adjust the sizing, spacing, and everything and what it'll look like here on the mobile version. So the size of your text, the spacing, letter spacing, if you want it to be indented, to make it look centered, the margins, all of that, so that it doesn't look borked. All right. And then another feature to this applies to not only text, but these tabs will be on everything that you add into your site here. If you add a button to go to a different page, you're going to have all of these tabs up here to adjust the function of the button, how the button appears, and all of that fun stuff. So the last button here, and I don't have the Pro version, so I can't really mess with the last button of the settings for Pro users. But the animation tab, you can show how the text or buttons or images appear on your site when you first open it, or when you hover over it. So for example, this one doesn't have a hover over animation function, but we can show how it appears when you open the web page at first. We're going to do a fade up, so it's going to fade up when people open the page. And I can replay that too to see how it'll look. And I can click on the text down here and do the same thing, make it fade up, so they both fade up. And you can also mess with, the duration of the fade, the intensity, the delay if you want one to fade up a little, later than the first one. Right. So now we're going to go into adding stuff to your page. To add stuff, you're going to click this plus button right here to add an element to your page. You can add texts, you can add lists, buttons, images, videos, links to your socials, audio if you want to play audio on your page, icons to display your social media, or just make your page a little bit more lively. You can create a gallery like I had showed you earlier on my card page, showing all of your artwork, timer, table, and dividers in between your text. Now what is really important here is that you can't really add anything to the page unless you create a container. And what the container is like a section of the page. So for example, this right here is a container. If we add another container, that adds on to the section of the page. I wish it was a little bit more intuitive as to moving like words and images around, but it seems very uniform with placement. With that being said, I know there's only one spot here to add in a button or an image, but if you wanted to break this up into different spaces, what you would do is go over here, the first tab, and change it to columns. And you can have up to 5 columns in one row. And you can add it right here, add an additional column if you want to. You can put a button, you can put text, and then you can put an image. You can do all sorts of things. So like, for example, let's add a button. we'll put a button here, and then we'll go over here and we'll add, I'm going to add an icon over here, which again, just as a reminder, each asset that you add will have those same 3 tabs up here to adjust the sizing, the color, the appearance, the animation, and the way it shows up. So we can have it fade up. And then this one also has the hover function. So for example, if you hover your mouse over the item, you can choose the animation you want it to look like. So I like the grow function, and unfortunately there's no real way to test this unless you publish the site, which you can do. Even if it's not ready, you can still publish it and make changes. And the way to do that would be to hit this save button right here, publish this site. You can save it as an offline draft, but you won't be able to test the animation functions that way. What I recommend is just publishing it anyway, hitting publish after you create a title and description for your card page, and then you can test the functions and come right back to your dashboard on card to make any changes if need be. So going back to the container here, we have the button, we have an icon. It's directed to the left, but we can, center it if need be. Let me see if it'll allow me to. I know some functions do. There we go. We can center it, make it larger. We can add text in this center box here. And I don't know how to explain this, but sometimes these container sections will allow for multiple pieces, like a text and an image. I don't know why, but that's always an option. But we're going to move the text here, and then you can, type whatever you need to, and adjust, the size, the alignment, the color, the way it appears when you first open the page. We'll have it fade up like everything else. This one too. And for buttons, these require an additional explanation because these buttons usually link to another page, and I'm sure you're wondering how to make an additional page to your card website, and I will show you that momentarily. But going over the button here, you can add more buttons. Same thing, you can add them in the row, you can move them around, all that fun stuff. We're going to delete the one that we just added and go into editing this one. So in the label, you can change the name. So if you want to do like socials, you can put the link here to the path that you want it to go to. Now you can have it go to an external website and put the external link here, or you can have it go to another page in your card website. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the plus button, and this is where you would use control. Control is a way of separating your pages. So we're going to add a control line here. This is our first section. This is our first page up here. This breaks the section here. I have it set up as a section break because it'll be going to the next page. And with that being said, we're going to label it as socials. And that's the hashtag link that we're going to use to make this button work. So once you set up the hashtag here, we're going to go back to this button and we're going to change the URL, to hashtag socials. And when we test this site and you click the button for socials, it'll bring you to our next page. However, the page will be blank unless we add another container like this first one. And to add a container, you're just going to click down hit the plus, add a container, and boom, we're on to the next page. And the cool thing about the page break is that when somebody opens up your card, this is the first thing they're going to see, this top half. And they're not going to be able to scroll up or down because this is all they'll see on that one page when they type in your card link. And once they click this button, it'll bring them to another page, which would, here, let me show you. So just like this, you won't be able to scroll on the page, but if you click this link here for your button, it will take you to that section break that we created, which is on another page. And section break, my words, section breaks will create multiple pages that you can link those buttons to. So all you have to do is do a section break, container, section break, container for as many pages as you want to add to your card. Right. So what we're also going to do now is we're going to try these other functions. If you wanted to add a video, we're going to move that down to this section, and you can post a link to your YouTube, anything that that the function supports is going to be here: YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch. Those are all the ones that they support, and some other ones I've never heard of. But you'll just post the link and it'll show up as a video like this once you publish the page. It's not going to look like that in the dashboard itself. Again, you do have to click the save here and publish as a live site to be able to view any functionality of the site. So going back here to see what else we can add an image into this container, and of course if you don't want it to be on the left side of the page, you'll just go up here to adjust how it looks on the page. Oh, you can also round the sides to make it more bubbly, adjust the size, width of your image. To add the image in, you're going to go to the first tab and click upload, and then once it drops the image in, you can adjust it and where it's located and add additional columns to your container. Let me see here. There's the container. If you do want it to be a column break, and then add text on one side, you can do that. If you want to update the background color, you can adjust it here by clicking the outside of the container. You can also apply one of the patterns that they offer, but they're pretty basic looking. If you wanted to do your own background or upload your own background, you're going to click, instead of color, we're going to check image, and then you'll be able to upload your own background like I did here. I used my own background behind the scene. And then as for, let's see here. As for icons, oh, I had already showed you that, but icons are used mostly for giving flair to your page and directing people to your socials. If I click on this icon and then the first tab here, you can change the icon too. They have basic different icons like a check mark or an X, or a little art pen for artists, little paintbrush, but they also have brands too. So if you scroll down, again, this is not that intuitive. You do have to scroll through all of these to find the socials that you use. But for example, let's find Instagram. Instagram, where are you? Again, this is not user friendly. If there was a search bar, it would be so much more helpful. Do I know my alphabet? Okay. Instagram is somewhere. There it is. Boom. And then to obviously make it a clickable to make it a clickable button, you're going to add a link in to your social. And then people will be able to click on it and go directly to that social. And then let me see here. To add a gallery, for example, if we were doing another page break, let's do a page break. We'll just call this gallery. And then we're going to add a container so we can add our gallery in. To add a gallery, let me just see if I remember how to do this. Let's see. I think it was, nope, there's an actual button for gallery. So if you click on gallery, you can add multiple images in here. So if you just hit add in this first tab, you can add multiple images. You can sort by how they are viewed, by making them smaller or, spacing out the sizing, aligning them in the center, all that fun stuff. And then you can also set it up as a light box like I did with my art. If you click on my portfolio, the light box turns it into this when you click on the image so people can view your artwork even closer. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the basic functionality of setting up a card page from scratch. I'm so sorry I stumbled over my words. I'm probably going to be too lazy to edit this video to make it nice, but hopefully I touched on all of the functions that you need when you are starting your card from scratch. If you have any questions, drop them below. Maybe I'll answer them in the next video if I have those answers. And yeah, thank you for watching.